Right now at noon, details on a major animal rescue in southwest Missouri where dozens of animals were rescued from a former breeder's facility.
And we get another sunny day. It's still a bit cool out there, but the warm weather will continue. We'll have a look at that forecast coming up.
Plus, an exhibit in Parsons, Kansas hopes to show that art knows no age.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Noe. New at noon today, voters in Missouri are headed to the polls. Municipal and county elections are happening today across the state. Now, polling places open this morning at 6 a.m. and will close at 7 p.m. Voters in Carthage, Missouri will vote on 2 issues on their ballot that will have an impact on the Carthage School District. A property tax rise for teacher pay and a bond issue that would help with building an auditorium. For a full breakdown of these issues, you can visit KOAMnewsnow.com. And to find voting information for your area, just scan this QR code. It'll take you to election resources on our website, and you'll be able to find all sorts of election info, including polling places and schedules. Let's head over to Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
It's still a bit on the cool side out there at this noon hour, but we have plentiful sunshine, as you can see from our camera downtown Pittsburgh and from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line in Joplin. Sunny skies out there, and it is going to still warm up. It's just going to take a second. Yesterday, we started at 30. Well below normal, but we only made it. We were only 3 degrees shy of our normal high yesterday. We're going to be pretty close to that again today, and then our temperatures start to climb and we'll eventually start to go above normal, but not quite there yet. We're at 52 in Joplin, 50 in Pittsburgh, and across the area to the north and east, still a little chilly. Stockton, you're the cold spot at 48, and you were the cold spot this morning as well. But as you head south and west, that's where we've got the warmer temperatures getting close to 60 in northeast Oklahoma. Eventually mid-60s, clear skies will continue looking great, but look at how slowly the temperatures fall back. That's that south wind working in for us, and they'll begin to increase as well overnight, keeping us a little milder tonight and much warmer tomorrow. Details in your full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, a judge sentences a former Miami, Oklahoma teacher and coach for sex crimes involving students. The DA's office says Canyon Cole pleaded guilty to sexual battery and 3 counts of soliciting sexual conduct or communication with a minor by use of technology. Now, he gets 90 days in the county jail, a 10-year suspended sentence, and 10 years probation. Cole will also have to register as a sex offender. Miami police say Cole had previously been forced to resign from Sand Springs High School in 2022. Now, according to court documents, authorities investigated Cole for similar behavior during his time at that school. However, Cole applied to Miami Public Schools with a reference letter from the Sand Springs principal stating he would hire him again. Now, following Cole's arrest, Miami Public Schools released a statement regarding his employment with the district. It says, quote, "It is important to note that this individual came to our district with solid references from their previous school district in Oklahoma. Thorough background checks were done and all laws followed in the hiring process," end quote. You can find much more on this story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And we're learning about a high-speed chase from southwest Missouri into Oklahoma that ended with the arrest of a fugitive. The suspect is William Vernemont of Kansas, Oklahoma, a convicted felon with outstanding warrants for felony assault on law enforcement and other crimes. Authorities in McDonald County, Missouri say as they tried to make a traffic stop, Vernemont drove off. Now, they say he drove more than 110 miles per hour on I-49, then exited going the wrong way on an on-ramp. Officers from various agencies joined the manhunt in Delaware County, Oklahoma, where they finally arrested Vernemont. Now, at last report, Vernemont was in the Delaware County Jail. Charges are being submitted to the McDonald County Prosecuting Attorney's Office for the violations that occurred in Missouri. Authorities released details of an animal rescue operation in rural Missouri. The joint rescue operation between law officers in Cedar County and the Humane Society of Missouri's Animal Cruelty Task Force saw the recovery of 51 animals. Now, those were 42 dogs, 2 adult cats, and 7 kittens. After securing a search warrant, the Animal Rescue Task Force arrived at the property for initial emergency care before the animals were moved to a holding facility. A formerly licensed breeder doing business as Whitner Knights operated the facility. An April 22nd court date has been scheduled to determine animal ownership. And April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. Now in Missouri, the hands-free law requires that Missourians not use cell phones while driving. AAA says over the past 2 years, it's reduced crashes by more than 5% and prevented more than 660 injuries. However, it's not just a problem in Missouri. We spoke with law enforcement in Independence, Kansas, and they say it's always important for drivers to always be aware of their surroundings, no matter where they are.
I've worked accidents as well where somebody's been driving down the road and they reach over to turn the volume up on the radio station and take their eyes off the road for just a split second, and somebody has pulled out in front of them at an intersection, or somebody's crossed that center line, and then they have to make maneuvers or to try to miss that person and stuff, and they end up hurting themselves or somebody else. And so it just takes a split second to get to that point.
And Missouri was the 28th state to introduce the complete hands-free legislation. And it was a celebration of transportation this morning at Forest Park Church in Carthage. The church honored the transportation department of Carthage schools by serving bus drivers a full breakfast, including biscuits and gravy, sausage, and eggs. The event was inspired by one of the church's pastors, who has a family history of bus drivers.
Personally, I have an affinity for bus drivers. My grandma was a bus driver, and so when I entered this role here at Forest Park, I was looking for opportunities to just extend appreciation to those in our community. We're in the community together, and so we want to show and share the love of Jesus and the treasure that is within us.
The official National Bus Driver Appreciation Day will be later this month on April 22nd. There's no age limit for creativity. Now, that's the idea behind the Art is Ageless exhibit at a senior living facility in Parsons, Kansas. Now, it's a competition done all across the country in Presbyterian manors, just like this one in Parsons, intended for people age 65 and older. Program organizers hope to showcase that your age doesn't stop you from being an artist.
Even though a body gets old and feeble, they're not useless. If we wake up every morning, that's a blessing. And we thank the good Lord for another day and try to make the most of that day.
Well, this exhibit will be open to the public through this Wednesday, and it can be viewed from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day. And coming up, tariff tensions with China continue as President Trump plans to add an additional tax on imported goods from the country. And later, we're making strawberry lemonade cake in the Mr. Fu test kitchen. With less than 24 hours until the Trump administration's new reciprocal tariffs are set to take effect, threats of retaliation are escalating between the U.S. and China. Now, some lawmakers are now demanding answers about the president's trade policy. Natalie Brand has more.
President Trump says he's waiting for China's call. On social media this morning, he wrote China wants to make a deal badly, but they don't know how to get it started. Comes after his threat Monday to ratchet up tariffs on China by an additional 50% unless Beijing withdraws threats of a retaliatory tariff against the U.S.
I have a great relationship with President Xi. I hope it's going to stay that way. I have great respect for China, but they can't do this with just... We're going to have one shot at this.
China said overnight pressure and threats are not the right way to make a deal, adding if the U.S. insists on engaging in a tariff and trade war, China will fight to the end.
My message is negotiate this as quickly as possible.
Bob Hemisoth is a fifth-generation corn and hog farmer in Iowa.
How important is China to you?
Well, China's always been a good trade partner for agriculture. My concern, wondering if that market's going to continue to stay there. Whenever we get in these kind of situations, these trade wars, as we saw in the last one in 2018, China looks elsewhere for those products.
The Trump administration has said it's open to negotiating. The president's trade representative is on Capitol Hill trying to ease concerns from lawmakers of both parties.
Tariffs are used We all know agriculture is usually the first place of retaliation.
Trade Representative Jamison Greer says the new tariffs are already bearing fruit.
Nearly 50 countries have approached me personally to discuss the president's new policy and explore how to achieve reciprocity.
Zimbabwe has also said it would scrap tariffs on U.S. goods, and the EU has said it will eliminate tariffs on industrial goods and cars if the United States does the same. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Some senators objected to tariffs placed on friendly trade partners such as Australia, which the U.S. has a trade surplus with. The trade representative Greer said the president has made it clear there will be no exceptions. And still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
When you serve today's recipe on Easter, don't be surprised if your guests are taking pictures and posting them online. It's that picture perfect.
And our weather nearly picture perfect as well. We're going to start to see gusty winds and warmer temperatures, the latest right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So it is a bit chilly out there still. Like I said this morning, because of the nature of our day today, we're actually going to be a couple of degrees cooler than where we were yesterday for most of the day, until those south winds start to kick in here in about 4 hours or so. Let's start with that look outside, though. Again, from downtown Pittsburgh, skies are clear. There's plentiful sunshine. It certainly looks warm. And since the wind isn't gusty at this point, it's really not that bad outside, but it is a bit on the chilly side right now, but that will not last much longer. So here's what we got. Into the afternoon, still have those east winds, so you can see where the winds are already beginning to shift out of the south for our friends to the west. As this pressure system passes us by, they start to see temperatures a little warmer than the rest of us who don't quite have that. For most of us, that wind won't come up out of the south until about 4 or 5 o'clock, which is why around 5 or 6, most of us, that's when we're going to hit our highs today, just before we start to close in on sunset. Temperatures will fall overnight, but winds increase overnight out of the south still, and that allows us to stay a little milder. So tomorrow morning, we're going to be roughly 20 degrees warmer than where we were this morning or yesterday morning. So we started both days, some of us even in the upper 20s yesterday and this morning. Not going to be the case tomorrow. Now, I have a few clouds roll in after midnight, and we are looking at partly cloudy skies as we head through the day on our Wednesday. We're also still going to deal with those gusty winds as well. They're going to increase out of the south and southwest at about 30 miles an hour on occasion. We go overnight and into Thursday morning. Another mild start to the day, but a lot more low 50s and a lot fewer upper 40s for our Thursday morning. However, about 8 o'clock or so is where I'm going to pause this. You see that wind shift line? Got a weak cold front coming through. It's not going to do much. It's not bringing any rain. It's not bringing freezing cold temperatures or anything like that, but it will keep us a wee bit cooler Thursday than where we'll be on our Wednesday. As you can see, upper 60s, low 70s compared to tomorrow's a mid to upper 70s for most of us. So again, it also has a northwest wind with it. So it's going to feel a little cooler. It's going to be partly cloudy, but otherwise it's not too bad for our Thursday. And it stays cool into Friday as well before we warm up again heading into the weekend. All right, so today, eventually mid 60s, once those winds begin to shift out of the south, still about 5-10 miles an hour. And they'll start to increase by late evening into the overnight, gusting upwards of 25. Get a couple of clouds possible after midnight, a little milder, upper 40s, low 50s tonight. Into tomorrow, partly cloudy, still breezy, low to mid 70s in some of our western counties, maybe even the upper 70s out there. And those south winds, though, really picking up now, gusting upwards of about 30 miles an hour. So how much warmer is it going to get? Well, once we get past Thursday and Friday, the upper 60s, low 70s, we cruise into the weekend into the upper 70s, and even some low 80s will be possible out there. We'll have those partly cloudy skies Sunday, maybe breezy again, because we can't have a warm day around here in the springtime without significant wind gusts, but it's a small price to pay compared to those warm temperatures. Next week, still hanging out in the 70s, maybe a few shower chances by the middle of next week. So really, compared to last week, considerably better for us.
I'll say. All right, Chris, thanks. Well, stick around. We're making strawberry lemonade cake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Well, today's Mr. Food recipe comes just in time for Easter. Howard's making strawberry lemonade cake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Every year during the week before Easter, we share some outrageous dessert recipe that we think will be the talk of the table. And this year is no exception. And what we love about the one this year is that it's not just for Easter. It's worthy of being served all year long. It's a strawberry lemonade cake, and here's how easy it is. We start by combining a box of lemon cake mix with strawberry gelatin, a few eggs, some vegetable oil, water, and a package of frozen sliced strawberries that we've thawed. After this is mixed, we pour the batter into a couple of cake pans and into the oven they go. While they bake, we throw together a lemonade frosting by beating together some powdered sugar with butter, along with some lemon juice and lemon zest. Once the cakes have cooled completely, all that's left to do is frost them. Can you imagine this as the centerpiece of your dessert table? And let me assure you, this isn't one of those cakes that just looks pretty. It tastes amazing too. It's just the right amount of sweet and tart, plus it's super moist. You can get the recipe for our strawberry lemonade cake by visiting our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a very sweet way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, you can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, conditions almost looking as beautiful as those leaves there. Sunny skies today, warm and breezy as we head into tonight and tomorrow, a mild tonight. Not too bad Wednesday night into Thursday, cooler Friday, and then back into the upper 70s, low 80s heading into the weekend.
Love it.
Really looks great.
You bet.
Chris, thanks about Dow. What do you have for us later on?
Lots coming up at 5. For starters, municipal and county elections are happening today in parts of the 4 states. We're going to take you to the polls in Carthage, Missouri. Plus, we'll break down new laws in the state of Kansas, and the 55th annual PSU Math Relays kick off with an opening ceremony. Hope you'll join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's coming up today, KOAM News at 5.
Right, Dow, lots to look forward to. Thanks. Well, that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. Have a great rest of your day.